Welcome to COMANDOLIN. Today taking a look at Stargazing by Myles Smith. You know, now usually I throw in a little blurb about the artist or song here at the beginning, but I don't know anything about Myles Smith. He's all, you know, current and modern and stuff, but man, I got a 20-year-old running around the house here who's obsessed with him. And he played me this tune and my ears just perked right up. I could hear it on the 8-stringer right away. It really works great on the Mando. It's not difficult, as long as you know just some basic chordings. It's just 4 chords and some melodies that we're going to weave around it. But hey, before we jump in, be sure to subscribe down below. COMANDOLIN, doing a lot of these lessons and tutorials and things. There'll be links, of course, for all the usual stuff. The store for your t-shirts and hoodies and stickers and things like that. Patreon page, kind of more of a nuts and bolts how-to thing. It's a whole nother group of videos, but I don't know, all the usual links down there. And of course, most importantly, be sure to let me know where you're watching from in the world so I can put a pin on my map for you here. But let's just jump right in here. Stargazing, Myles Smith. Alright, let's go ahead and break her down here. The whole song is 4 chords. A, E, C sharp minor, and B. So we're going to work those chords or some part of those chords around our melody here. And it starts off with our little intro. And what we're going to do here starts off A major, 2nd fret of the G, 2nd of the D, 4th fret of the A. And we're going to walk up from the open E, O to 4. We're going to lay that 4 into an E major chord here, where we got 4, where we are. Middle 2 strings on the 2nd fret, and 4th fret of the G string. Just your open D, but scooted up. So that's our E major. So we walk A to E. We do another little transition melody here, where you can just let go of this finger right here to get that open E string to the 7th fret. We're going to land here on kind of a different C sharp minor chord where we're 4th fret of the high E, 4th fret of the A, 2nd fret of the D. And one more. Open to the 2nd fret. You're going to come down here and land on a B chord. 4th fret here, 4th fret here, and 6th fret of the A. So once again, that's A, E, C sharp minor, B. And then it's going to go into the verse. Alright, so let's look at that verse here. I'll play the first part for you, and we'll check it out. And what we're doing here, starting out for our A note, we're using our A chord. We'll use this A note here, 2nd fret of the G string, and our melody note is going to be 6th fret of the D string. We'll hit the harmony once, and then the melody note 3 times. Move this up to a B, because here it's going to function as part of an E chord. In fact, it's just sitting right there like we were making an E chord. And then we're going to play this melody, which is on the D string 2, 6, and then on the A string 2, open, walking back down, 6, 4, 2. So again, that's now for our C sharp minor chord. We're going to bar the 6th fret of the D and the 6th fret of the G. Again, hit the harmony once, melody 3 times, walk back down to the B, but here instead of functioning as part of an E chord, it's the bass note, the root note of the B major chord. So the same note, doing 2 jobs here. So again, 4, and that same little melody. So all that together. progression starts over when it goes to the A chord. Instead of playing technically part of the A chord formation, we're going to play. We're going to come up here back to this 6th fret bar, the D and the G string. But this time our melody note is two notes here on the 6th fret of the G string, and walk it down to the 4th fret. And when you get to the 4th fret, it's real easy to, because this is the E chord, so here's an E note right here. So it's a handy harmony for our E major harmony. And then back up to our bar here. 6 on the D, 6 on the G string, twice. And we're going to come up here, 2nd fret of the D, sink that down to the 1st fret of the D. And when you go to the 1st fret, put your B note here, 4th fret of the G string, because this is our B major harmony. So bending on that B chord. So we've gone, here's the A, here's part of the E, C sharp minor, E, now it's back to the A again, E, C sharp minor, B. It goes right into the bridge. Alright, the bridge, I think, is probably the most recognizable hook of the song. Like, if you're just walking around humming this song to yourself, this is probably the part you're humming. Alright, let's look what we're doing here. The melody is 2nd fret on the A string, sinking into our A major chord. I mean, the melody is 4 here, and we're just backing it up with 2nd fret there, 2nd fret here. Just our A chord that we started with. And then the melody walks down. 6, 4, 2 on the A, and lands here, 6th fret on the D string. And when we get to the 6th fret of the D string, technically the correct note is this E up here. But I have a hard time making that smooth. It's such a long way to jump. What I do instead usually is I just do an E harmony here. So I still got my melody here, but I'll do the B note, which is part of an E chord, so it works. So I'll do 6 here and 4 on the G string. And personally, I can get to that a lot faster and smoother. And then walking up, 2 to 4 on the D. And come out here to our 6th fret bar on the top 2 that we're going to get a lot of mileage out of. And it's just following the melody there. Just all on the just this note here, 6th fret of the D. Drop down to the 4th fret of the D. Whoop. And then end it with those, barring the 4th fret of the top 2. There's our B chord right there. I mean, all we're doing, we got the 6th fret barred here on the top 2, moving down to the 4th fret barred there on the top 2, just kind of following the melody in your head. Right into the big chorus. All right, coming off that bridge, coming off this. Go back to our A chord, as we always do to start with. 2, 2, and 4 respectively. Let's see. And here's our main melody. So the chord, and then open E to the 4. Here's our melody. Now switch down to an E chord, but this time we need this E chord. 1, 2, and 2. And our little melody walks up from 2nd fret of the A. Use your pinky to grab 4th fret of the A. Open E. And back to the 2nd fret of the A. So your chord fingers don't move. You can just execute the melody with your pinky there. So now we can do a handy C sharp minor right here. 4th fret A, 2nd on the D, 1st on the G. And then our melody, high E, 4th fret where your pinky already is. And now we have to go down to a B major chord. Here's a handy B major because here's our melody, 2nd fret of the A, 1st fret of the D, and 4th here. 4. And you have to use your pinky because then the melody notes are 4th fret of the A and 4th fret of the E. Again, on the A, melody starts on the open E, to the 4, to the E chord, C sharp minor, and one more time here. Alright, so the melody will, repeat partially. To do that part the same. But once it'll go to the C sharp minor, but then the melody kind of walks down. And what we're doing from the C sharp minor is 2nd to the 4th on the A. Come down here for our B major chord, 4, 6 on the B. 4 and 6 for the B chord. Back up here, 2nd fret on the A, which is of course a B note. And then just walking down 6, 4, and 2 there on the D string. So one more time, the verse up, or the chorus up to that point. Now from there, just kind of does the same melody before. I call it the interlude because it can be kind of the break in the middle where everything repeats, or it can be right here at the end of the song. Because you've landed right here in this E note, 2nd fret of the D string, which is part of our A chord that starts the progression. So we're just starting over here from, and we're going to walk up. Whereas before we did this melody up here, we're going to do it an octave lower. So 2nd, 4th, 6 on the D. And when you get to the 6th, we're going to do this harmony that I couldn't really do smoothly before. 2nd fret of the G string. Well, not 2nd. What is that? 9th fret of the G string. You say so many numbers doing this. So walking into our E chord there. We're going to, from this 2 to the 2 on the A string, back to our old C sharp minor harmony, barring the 6th fret, top 2 strings. And then finishing off with 2 to 4 on the D string, settling into our B chord, 4 and 1. So that a lot. I mean, you could do that as the intro for the song. I just like doing the intro an octave up. Just so there's some variety as you go about it. But I like to start with the higher up, you know, intro. Then during the song and at the end of the song as an outro, I'll do it down here. Anyway, you would do this twice if you're at the end of the song here. Now, as we get to the very end of the song, technically what would be correct would be an E major chord, because the song's in E. But I don't know. To me, it is such a, what I prefer, just as me. You know, you can end it however you like. I like to end it on the A. Not even A major or minor, just A's. Here I got 2 and 2 respectively at the top, and then the top 2 open. I don't know, to me it's kind of more of a, there's a little more suspended suspense there. I like that any better, but what would technically be correct would be E. But, like I say, just to be different, in my arrangement, when I got to the end, I like that. I like that A. 2, 2, open, open. So, I don't know, let's look at that whole, let's look at each part one more time here and we'll color good. Here's that intro. We'll do that twice when we get to the verse. Get to the bridge. And the chorus. And the outro. I guess I call it interlude in the writing, when I wrote it out. Alright, hey, thanks for tuning in to COMANDOLIN today for a look at Stargazing, Myles Smith. It's such a cool tune. Really works great. Alright, thanks again, and see you next time.